Humans aren't born out of laying around on their asses. We've been born out of conquering a world. We're the dominant species. We built all this. We're powerful, and we're beautiful, and we're ready to build the next level of civilization in God's plan. But you must stop bowing to those who want to make you a victim. You must become the victor. If you love God and you want to build a pro-human future, then you are an enemy of the New World Order and Satanism. They want us shut down because we have the spirit. I'm jacked into the source. I know the secret, and I want to see you empowered. But you have to believe in yourself first. This is the truth, and everyone knows it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the other day I did a video that was titled, "As Ubisoft faces total financial ruin, they snark tweeted Elon Musk." And the story we have today is sort of a follow-up on that, in a way. Where, yeah, it's basically like I said. That was the last vestiges, that was the last gasp of Ubisoft, because they're done. I'm not being over dramatic or hyperbolic, but Ubisoft has formed a new subsidiary with Tencent, and Tencent now owns 25% of that subsidiary, which is a huge portion. So basically, Tencent now has access to Assassin's Creed and other IPs from Ubisoft. This is incredibly predictable. You can't fail and fail and fail and fail and lose hundreds of millions of dollars and lose hundreds of millions of dollars and lose hundreds of millions of dollars and have the reputation and trust in your brand and your IPs destroyed and act like it's business as usual. You just can't. Before we get into the main topic of today's video, which is going to be reacting to Asmongold talking about this and sharing his perspective on this, because there's a lot of insight in there, and you're going to see when we get there. But first and foremost, you want to talk about clapbacks and snarky comments. Well, I can do snarky comments too, and that's what I do in my YouTube community tab, which, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, I definitely recommend it, because you get notified of my YouTube community tab where you will be treated with notifications of messages like this. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to watch this video. I literally said this would happen on Asmongold's main channel. And yeah, I mean, it's not something to brag about. It's an easy prediction. How many AAA games do you have to lose before, before you just can't take the weight of it anymore? And the thing is, Asmongold and I disagree on a whole lot of stuff. I've heard people say, "Oh, you're an Asmongold fan channel." No. If you actually pay attention to my content, I do like Asmongold on some things. But I vehemently disagree with him on a whole lot of stuff, in fact. And when he's right, I mention that he's right. I articulate that he's right. When he's wrong, I articulate that he's wrong. And he mentioned something about he didn't care that Yasuke was black, and that didn't matter, and so I've disagreed with that since the beginning. I think that is a monstrously stupid take. Of course it matters. Of course aesthetics matter. Of course authenticity matters. You don't just get to invent a new history for another culture and pretend like it's perfectly okay. Now, again, Asmongold and I have a difference of opinion on that. I don't think that it's okay to do what Ubisoft did with Assassin's Creed. I don't think it's acceptable. I don't think that it's okay. I think that when you change things, not only is it breaking your fiduciary duty to do your best for your investors, to do your best for the company, but it also highlights that there are other problems there. Because if you think that the best thing for business is having a black samurai in your game in feudal Japan, you're nuts. Unless there's some sort of aesthetic and theme behind it that would sort of match that energy. But no, in reality, they would have had a much easier time. It would have been a much better game if the aesthetics had been right, if the feeling had been right, if the story had been right. But they were more interested in fine-tuning the elements which people detest than actually getting the things that needed to be right. And that does matter. And so when I see a goofy-looking black samurai in the middle of a game, I immediately say, no, that's a terrible choice. That is a choice that is going to end up costing you in the long run, because the Japanese don't want to play a game in their homeland where some big, lumbering, clumsy black guy is bludgeoning, fellow Asians. They want to play as a cool assassin that looks like where they're from, that looks like them. This is a very, 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 very simple thing. But again, it's a disagreement that I have with Asmongold, where he doesn't think the aesthetics matter that much. Or maybe he does believe that, but he wanted to appear, I don't know, like a good guy, virtuous. Oh yeah, I know, it's perfectly fine to put a 6'6" black guy in the middle of feudal Japan. Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. Yasuke's great. I mean, anyway, this isn't a shit on Asmongold video. It just, some people have been like, well, you react to him a lot. And it's like, well, yeah, he's one of the biggest content creators on the platform. He's one of the biggest content creators in the world. Of course I do. He's relevant. Unlike somebody like Hassan, who is only relevant by talking about somebody like Asmongold.
It's like Ubisoft and oh my god. It has been foretold. It's actually happening. Let's take a look at it. Ubisoft has partnered with Tencent to form a new subsidiary valued at $4.3 billion with a 25% stake. So Tencent owns a quarter of this new subsidiary of Ubisoft. The subsidiary will feature key Ubisoft franchises like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, aiming to develop a multi-platform game ecosystem. Anybody who's watched, you know this is the exact same thing that I said was going to happen. Like, I called this directly. I'm feeling real cute. I'm gonna be honest. I'm feeling real fucking cute right now. The most humble streamer? Yeah.
Why? I called it. Yeah, so did I. So did a lot of people, because it's obvious. Now, keep in mind, again, this isn't a shit on Asmongold. He rated the game a 6 out of 10. He rated the game a 6 out of 10. Which is a good game. Like, a 6 out of 10 is a good game. A 6 out of 10 game is a game that you want to finish, you feel like you got your money's worth, and maybe you want to tell a friend about. Yeah. I think the game was a 3, personally. I thought Dragon Age Veilguard was a 2. But this game is definitely a 3.
Yeah, I said just... Dude, you can't have the number go down like that and not have the house be on fire. Like, that's the way it works.
That's true. And if you look at their stock, and I went over the Ubisoft stock the other day, and it's atrocious. It is absolutely atrocious how far they've fallen. Like, in 2021, they had over $100 per share. Over $100 per share. That's decent. Now, it's just over $12. Like, you have had a cataclysmic plunge. In fact, let me take a look real quick. Ubisoft stock price. Let's just pull it up because at the news that there is going to be a new subsidiary, their stock price went up. Do you want to guess by how much their stock price went up? Yeah, wow. No, of course, this is a 1/5 representation. This is the 1/5 representation because the majority of their business is in Europe. But even still, the news that there's a new subsidiary and Tencent is getting involved is raising the stock more than the recent Assassin's Creed game ever did. That is shocking. That really, really is shocking. Yeah, but the stock price is absolutely abysmal.
Works. So of course it's going to happen. And I said it was even going to be by Tencent. And it was by Tencent. So here we go. The move is seen as a strategy to protect Ubisoft's valuable IPs and potentially restructuring the business model. Discussions online suggest this could lead to significant changes in control or the eventual closure of the original Ubisoft if it encounters financial issues with the new entity holding valuable IPs and potentially attracting top talent. So basically, they made a new Ubisoft. Yeah. Wow. Check their...
Yeah, no, they did. And this time Tencent has more of a control. And let's just hope that they will use that control to fire all of the dead weight, all of the woke activists, all of the LGBTQ diversity hire Karentocracy bullshit artists, and actually bring in some people that are good at their job, that know what they're doing, that can deliver a satisfactory product. I don't think it's going to happen, but hopefully they do away with the egregious and disgusting monetization, because that's a huge hindrance in their game. And it would be nice for them to go back to one main character per game. Not a male and a female, but just a male. Just a man. Because who the hell wants to play through history as a woman?
Their stock? Okay. It's going up a lot, actually. But this is before the announcement. The announcement hasn't been made yet. So right now, it's very high. And I think that we can expect to see it continue going up higher as soon as this happens. Because the problem is that those are insiders. Yeah, it probably could be insider trading, realistically, right? Or they heard about it earlier on, like, a French news station before it really hit America. I don't know really why. So Ubisoft, and this is it. Ubisoft accelerates its transformation by laying foundation for new operating model with the creation of subsidiary and injection of 1.16 billion of cash from selected investor Tencent. Man. Today, Ubisoft is accelerating its transformation by taking an important step in rapidly evolving its operating model with the creation of dedicated subsidiary based on Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six brands. Following the formal competitive selection process, Tencent will invest again for 25%. Backed by greater investment and boosted creator capabilities, it will drive further increases in quality of narrative solo experience, expand multiplayer offerings with increased frequency of content release, introduce free-to-play touchpoints, and integrate more social features. So the binding agreement with Tencent follows the formal and competitive process in exploring and assessing different strategic options assessed earlier this year, based on the careful consideration of several expressions of interest received from diverse parties, and its duty to act in the best interest of all Ubisoft stakeholders. The board of directors, upon recommendation from the ad hoc committee, determined that this transaction crystallized the best value for Ubisoft's assets and unanimously approved the proposed transaction on March 27th.
Damn.
Man. Well, there it is.
Yep.
There we go, gentlemen. Ubisoft is, I mean...
They're done.
As I said, I didn't think the company was going to be sold. I thought it was going to be restructured. It's being restructured. And China now owns 25% of it.
Yep.
So, that's a lot. How much you bet? Yeah, they're going to fire everybody and then reallocate the IPs. Yeah, that's what they're going to do.
Yep.
They're doing this, by the way, and this is what's going to happen. Everybody's getting fired. Yeah, they're getting rid of probably most of these people.
And you know what the crazy thing is? For years, I have to rein myself in a little bit. For years, people like myself have been desperately trying to warn these people, these arrogant, condescending, entitled, degenerate retards that are game devs, that are game writers. I mean, these people that are just disgusting. Disgusting to look at, disgusting to listen to. I mean, they're just the worst of the worst. But even all that being said, we have been desperately trying to warn them for years that there are going to be consequences for what you're doing. You may exist out of spite, but we don't. We actually want good content. We want good comic books. We want to make good movies and good television shows. We want to make good video games. We don't want to be the laughingstock of the entire world. We don't want Korea and Japan and China to be able to make compelling, narrative-driven stories with attractive female characters where our stories are just boring, one-dimensional, woke, dripping in DEI. All the female characters are ugly and have half their head shaved and are obnoxious and girl boss. You have ruined these games, and at every step of the way I've done videos talking about how you're going to lose your job, you're going to get fired, you're going to face the bitter, cold, frigid waters of unemployment. I've said this for a long time, that the market is not just going to end with you, it's going to end you. People in these companies, they were more than happy to pander to wokeness because they felt that that was the direction for the future. And so they stocked their companies, they bloated them with these freaks. And the reality is that now the company is looking at it going, well, we're not making money, our IPs are losing value, we're not really doing anything, so you're all fired. And guess what? The games that are going to be coming out of China, they're going to look more like Marvel Rivals. They're going to have attractive female characters because they know that it makes money. They know it makes money. So they're going to have attractive female characters. They're not going to have multiple genders. It's going to be male or female, as it should be. So all of the stuff that you've done while gloating about what great people you are, it's going to be undone. You're all going to be fired. And guess what? Guess what? Here's the thing. 15 years ago, I would have been like, that's terrible that you lost your job. Yeah, it sucks. But now that we know who and what you are, no, I'm not going to shed a tear. What, you mean a bunch of narcissistic, degenerate, bottom-feeding freaks? A bunch of left-wing anti-Trump activists, a bunch of mentally ill losers are going to lose their job? Sounds good. You have created an environment for your own destruction, and unfortunately for you, people are going to cheer. People are going to cheer because you're the worst of the worst. You thought you were better than other people. You thought you were in an ivory tower, but it was a delusion. And now you're going to come face to face with the consequences of your own actions. It's about time. And guess what? We're going to get games. The games are going to be better. No, I'm not saying that the games are going to be drastically better. I'm not saying that suddenly Assassin's Creed is going to be, it's not like Gordon Ramsay coming in with kitchen nightmares. It's not going to be like video game nightmares and, they suddenly, rehabilitate the old thing and there's like a happy ending. No, but what I am saying is that the games are going to be better because you're not part of it. Does that make sense?
Like, if you're working at Ubisoft right now, I would update my resume.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Because, like, you look at this, right? Ubisoft employee count. They have 23,000 employees.
Oh, yeah.
So if you really think that they're going to... Do you really think Tencent is going to keep 23,000 people on the payroll?
No.
Abso-fucking-lutely not. No. So these guys are done. Like, they're totally cooked. It's over. It's finished. They're totally going to change this, and that's going to be it, man. And I think it's kind of funny for me to see this. Because everybody on Twitter was talking about how much of a success Assassin's Creed was and how everything is fine. And I don't know if these people can read a graph.
No, because they don't really care about Activision or Ubisoft or Disney or Marvel. They don't really care about any of it. They don't care about the companies. They just want them to affirm all of the bullshit and delusion and mental illness and evil filth that they spew out on a daily basis. They're not reading graphs. They're not interested in finance. They don't understand anything about finance. Most of them still live with their mothers in their basement. Not that there's anything wrong with living with your mom. But, I mean, they're living with their mom because they can't live on their own. Their mother makes them they say, Mom, it's dinner time. I want a bologna sandwich with ketchup on it. Mom, where's my bologna sandwich with ketchup? It's like, you are only interested in making yourself feel a little bit better about your worthless, empty, meaningless existence. And the truth is that you would gladly watch any one of these companies or any one of these games go under if it went under while affirming the bullshit that you believe. Whereas me and other people, we don't want them to go out of business. We want them to make games, but we want them to make games the right way. We want them to make games that are good for everyone. Not propaganda. I don't want to play a propaganda game. Unless Alex Jones makes it, of course. Unless it's like Space Marines propaganda. But I don't care about your opinion. If you're some left-wing, you're some 20-something, fresh out of college, ideas in your head about how you're going to save the world, I don't give a shit about you or your opinion. You've done nothing to earn the sense of self-importance that you've bestowed upon yourself. And what Asmongold said here is correct. Most of you are going to get fired, and it's going to be to a round of applause. People cheering. And all the people on Twitter that glazed you up, oh no, these incels are just mad, the game is great. And again, I go back to the video I did about Ubisoft clapping back at Elon Musk. Elon Musk could buy you at this point for pennies on the dollar. $1 billion to him is nothing. He could, 25% of Ubisoft. But that community manager, that account manager, they're going to be looking for a job. And guess what? All your friends are getting fired along with you. They're all going to be looking for jobs. And so I have a feeling that Elon Musk is going to pull up and say, I'd like a Big Mac and some fries, and pull up to the window, and that snarky account manager is going to be like, damn you, Elon Musk. And he's going to be like, yeah, can I get some extra salt on that? Yeah, that's your future. Congratulations.
I don't know if they can read a graph. Like, anybody could have seen this happening. But for some reason, people didn't want to see that. Why would you ever need 23,000 people? I bet there's a lot of guys in China right now that are wondering that exact same thing.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. And, there it is. And they can ratio the tweet. Yeah, they can ratio tweets, but they can't ratio investors. That's right. And Tencent, well, they got ratioed by China. And
Oh, God.
wow.
Oh, man.
Ubisoft has officially sold its video game franchises and formed a new subsidiary, giving Tencent 25% ownership and royalties. Ubisoft did so well with Assassin's Creed Shadows, they were forced to sell. I told you so.
Oh, man.
I fucking told.
Yeah.
I said this shit was going to
they're
happen.
teaming up.
I am. Man. I said it was going to happen. Like, the thing is that I didn't think it was going to be so fast.
Yeah. It's like Asmon's patting himself on the back, like, oh, I was right. Asmon, a blind, dumb, deaf, comatose patient that had a lobotomy, could have predicted that this is what's going to happen. Because you don't get to continue running a failed business and losing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars and driving your IPs into the ground and antagonizing. Like, keep in mind, Ubisoft was condemned by the Japanese government. The Japanese government came out and said, we do not like your game. Like, imagine that. The Japanese government came out to condemn Assassin's Creed Shadows. That is... that is just the cherry on top of the shit sundae.
This shit was really quick. This whole idea that, like, oh, China bad, get the fuck out of here. Like, China's the only people now that are making good games.
Well, Korea and Japan as well. And there are some good games coming out of, like, games that are like Sweden and, Poland, and, there are some good games coming out of some of those countries, but for the most part, Ubisoft is a Canadian, French Canadian company. Which China just put 100% tariffs on Canada. How's that?
So no, I don't want to hear that at all. Are you tired of being always right? No, I'm just tired of people that don't want to admit it. That's the only thing I'm tired of. And Ubisoft still owns partial and new subsidiaries. Yeah, of course they do. Ubisoft forming a subsidiary company. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. Well, no word yet on what this means for the other franchises or the company's approximately 19,000 employees.
Ooh, they've laid off a couple thousand. 19,000.
What could it possibly mean for those 19,000 employees?
Ooh,
who could know?
The frigid waters of unemployment.
I wonder.
Yeah, I wonder.
I do. I wonder. So anyway, they were in part making Smite. Oh, I don't know about Smite. I never really played that. That's a Mizkif game. Ownership in. I think that this is a very, very tried and true practice, and from what I've seen, it sure seems to work. And you can't type 1989. That's another thing. You can't forget that. Anyway, let's go back over. Make all 19,000 work on Splinter Cell. Well, there's not going to be all 19,000 for very long, man. And no word yet for the other 19,000. Yeah, bro. It's done, bro. Yeah, everyone ready for the news cycle of Assassin's Creed Shadows? I saw this before. There it is. Okay, it didn't sell as much as we are. Give me a second. I think we're about like right here. Yeah, we're about like right here. Just so you guys understand this. This is an undisputed, categorical, catastrophic, cataclysmic Chud victory. China is going to make games for Chuds.
Yeah, you better believe it.
This is a total Chud victory.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say.
Are you? I'm not.
Wow. the reception of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, having to shut down X-Defiant, Star Wars, that, you know, this was planned for a while. This wasn't because of the reception of Assassin's Creed Shadows. This was because of the reception of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, having to shut down X-Defiant, Star Wars Outlaws, and also the negative reception leading up to Assassin's Creed Shadows, that I think that even if you don't agree with any of the sentiment and you think that Assassin's Creed Shadows was still a success, you have to acknowledge that all of the controversy was a negative for the game. Like, if you look at, like, did the controversy make the game sell more copies or less copies? It made it sell, I think, a lot less copies. And Skull and Bones, too. I forgot about that. Yeah. So this is the reality.
Yeah. People don't talk about the quadruple A game. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go watch the full video, I definitely recommend it. But Asmongold makes a lot of good points there. He does. This company was mismanaged in every which way, continually, for a long time. It cost them a lot of money. It cost them a lot of reputation. And now, Tencent's going to come in there and they're going to make the games that people want to play. Yes, there will be censorship in the chat. No, you won't be able to say certain words and certain things. But they're going to be single-player, narrative-driven games that are made for gamers because China knows that that's the way that you get the most money. And it's unfortunate that it took China coming in to sort of save this company from itself. But what I'm hoping is that other American companies can learn from this, can rediscover the creative arts, and go back to being the standard bearer for entertainment. And that all of these woke activists, all of these incompetent, degenerate, subhuman, bottom-feeding, low-value, low-IQ, parasitic, just deviants, degenerates, freaks, losers, that they all go back to the abyss from which they came. They all crawl and slither back to hell. And you can actually get decent, quality, competent, creative people in there to do a damn good job. Because it's not hard. But you have to put the left-wing cult ideology aside because nobody likes it and it's repellent to most good, decent people. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to give you this news. I wanted to share it with you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.